Hello everyone. It's very exciting for especially people like me who spend their pretty much all the time in boardrooms and corporate meetings and so on and so forth. So it's very refreshing for me to walk into a campus and see a lot of kids who are coming out of college and attending these sessions, and I saw him speaking and doing a wonderful thing for some of the performers here. My journey has been all about entrepreneurship, business, startups and so on and so forth. I started very early, as said 16, which is not the greatest thing to do, but I did. I started with starting a lot of independent businesses which I felt I can make it, and most of them failed. So today I will, next 18 odd minutes, talk about a little bit what I feel about entrepreneurship. Because what I see now is, especially now where our Prime Minister also talking about startup and getting into businesses and so on and so forth, it's impacting your lives. It is impacting campuses. It is impacting way people are thinking. So everybody started talking about how can I start a new business, and I feel there is a great excitement in doing it, but also one has to know what is the best way to do it. So I'll give you a little bit about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is actually new to this country. While we all think that we've been, as a country, creating a great entrepreneurship, but it's very new. In 2003, I tried registering the brand called Entrepreneur, right? And I felt myself that somebody would have already done that, right? And when I did and I applied, I got it. Nobody before 2003 actually even applied for the word entrepreneur. And now everything we talk about, we look at Economic Times, we look at everything around us, is just talking about entrepreneurship. It's as fresh as that. So what is entrepreneur? So now in the morning while coming here, I was reading something about entrepreneurship. It said this is a guy who will jump off the cliff and learn the way things would be done and so on and so forth. But actually no, entrepreneurs were never like that. So there are three parts to the entire ecosystem. One is what we call invention, second is entrepreneurship, and third is execution. So entrepreneur is actually somebody who's smart enough, who's able to locate a great idea and finds a team to go and execute it. So he's never an inventor. Carefully understand this. And neither he is a great executor. There are very few who would be all three. But entrepreneur is somebody who's sitting in the middle. So he is the one who doesn't take too much of risk. While he takes a risk, but he takes a calculative risk. So if you want to be one of the entrepreneurs and a successful one, take one thing out of your mind, that you are jumping off the cliff. It's like arranged marriage, right? Arranged marriage is not something which you're getting and marrying to somebody you don't know, but you don't know well enough, right? But you know the family, you know the person, you know the background, you know what she's done and so on and so forth. And you in somewhere found that it matches with you, right? Because it matches with you, you also know the lot of things you don't know, you will discover, and everything would fall in place. This is what entrepreneurs do. Entrepreneurs find the right idea or a business which fulfills their aspirations of making money. And then when they start getting into that business, they fall in love with that business or get in passion with that business. Not the other way around. A lot of people come to me, I say, why do you want to start a business? By the way, I probably would be in India or especially Asia, somebody who's sold more businesses than anybody else. My company sells about 2,500 businesses every year. So I get a lot of people who come to me, who says, look, I want to start a business. I say, which business you want to start? They would say, want to start this because I'm super passionate about it. But entrepreneurs are not like that. Look at Mr. Ambani. Can he be passionate about oil business? Does he look passionate about this 4G business which he is now doing, Jio? Or all the successful entrepreneurs around you? You build passion about something which works for you, because it's worked for you. But what you start is something which serves your purpose, as our friend said. And purpose is stability of your life, getting what you wanted. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to first locate a great idea which can work, and then build a great execution team which would deliver the product. Right? The second part is part of my book called Take Charge. I call it the 3 stages of an entrepreneur mindset. And they must to be there. All 3. 1, we call fun. You need to enjoy what you do. As an entrepreneur, you need to really enjoy. You need to look up to go to a place. A lot of people say, I don't want to do just work because I want to make money. Making is also a great enjoyable thing. There should be no harm ever. Especially now I go to these young campuses, I see a lot of people talking about social entrepreneurship and things like that. And I look at their background, not by saying anything. I said, Nick, this guy should be in his age, or 21, the kids who are playing great music. They should all think about making money. What is harm in that? And making money gives you a lot of fun. That's 1. Second, fear. You should always carry a fear of losing a lot of things. It's a wrong argument that you should leave your fears away. You cannot. You should carry them in your belly. They keep you on toes. Fear of losing money, fear of losing reputation, fear of losing a lot of other things. You should have that. But the third, which is most important part, which people buy in today's world, so everybody creates an idea, go to a venture fund or a private equity and things like that. What are they going to buy? They don't buy the first 2, that you making great fun or you have a lot of fears. Actually, they buy the third part, which is called the fantasy. We have to dream big. Something which is large than us. I'll give you my story. In 98, I went to US. I was looking for businesses. Traveled extensively around United States. Went to this show in Washington, DC, a franchise show, a lot of opportunities on stock and things like that. Understood a lot of businesses. Came back in the hotel, sat in the night, kept thinking that, can I take something like this to India? But I also thought at that day that the owner of this company, is it my aspiration to become one of like him? I had a mixed answers. Now, coming back, the same show I saw in US, which was the biggest, Franchise India does 120 of them. We are the largest company in the world for franchising and licensing. Largest in the world. So if I had only thought that that was my goal, right? While I saw the idea, I picked the idea from there, but my goals were mine. So you might have a great idea, which you take it from there, but journey is yours. You can make it as much big you want. Recently I met somebody, a company called Decor, and I asked him, I said, you do a great job, you have Shah Rukh Khan as a brand ambassador, they do good textile materials and so on and so forth. And then he suddenly said to me that we are the largest manufacturer for textile for home decor in the world. While he would be using the same machines which came from Italy or Germany or things like that, but his vision was larger than anybody else. So the third part is the fantasy. Now I'll tell you a little bit about types of entrepreneurs, and you can be one of them. One are adventurous entrepreneurs. They're a little more adventurous. I normally now, particularly 70% of people who come to me are very adventurous. Without even looking at the business, without even looking at how it will work, they think they're going to make a lot of money out of it. They're too adventurous. You know, without even understanding who's going to give you this money, they think that they will get money. I'm not so big believer of them, right? You should not be too adventurous. The second type of people which I like the most are optimistic. They locate a good idea, they work on that, but they also know it would take a lot to make it happen, but they can do it. They're optimistic about the idea. 4G for Mukesh Ambani is not a new thing. 4G was already there, Airtel is doing it. But he knows he can do better. He can deliver a differentiated product, which he will, because he's optimistic about it. And third are very realistic entrepreneurs, which are a little bit arrived. I call them more investors, who are not interested in any business. They are not so optimistic about things, but they are very conservative in their approach. They always look at a return on investment which should give them 18% return, and they go and invest. They are more investors in the passive opportunities. They are more on stock exchange or more on the property and things like that. But this middle one I like. Now, another part to my discussion is, what is the life cycle of an entrepreneur? If you want to become an entrepreneur or a startup, which a lot of I think in today's time, especially management graduates aspire to be, what are the three things which you would need? One, build the brand. People just buy brands. Really. I have seen a lot of businesses which had no purpose, nothing, but they're a great brand. And they worked. So you need to invest in building a brand, and brand are now also divided in two parts. One, the company which you run, or the brand or the product which you have, and second is you yourself, which is equally important or more important. There's a kid on my cover page of a magazine called Entrepreneur called Rahul Yadav. You know, today my wife is actually speaking with him in IIT Bombay. So he's become a brand. What has he done? He's created something different? No. Has he made money? No. Has his businesses worked? No. But he's still a brand. Everybody still wants to invest on him. We want to take him on a cover page because he sells. Right? So you need to become a brand. Second, which is also equally important, is that get your key team, your inner circle, your stakeholders. Largest of the companies you go and check. I've been fortunate enough to work with the topmost corporates of India, and I found that they had the inner circle. They had these 4 people, 5 people around them which stayed around, which worked with them. And if you are getting into entrepreneur, you need to find what is your inner circle. Who are the 2 other people or 3 other people who are going to join with you, who would complement you. Third, which is very, very important for Indian entrepreneurs, very important, is that you need to get early success. Because everybody is watching you. And most of the times, a lot of people outside your parents want you to fail, and they want to come and tell you that you failed. This is my worry with when Narendra Modi comes and says, startup, everybody should do startup. I get worried because I know a lot of kids who came from very modest backgrounds. Their parents worked very hard. They send them to schools. They get a better job. They get settled. And they might do something which they don't sure of. They get into even bigger problem, right? So now we have a responsibility to go and educate them that if you really want to do a startup, do it carefully. Early success is most important. You need to have one blockbuster. I found if you see film industry, the stars who got the first blockbuster like Jackie Shroff, got a hero movie being blockbuster, or a lot of other players. They've all been successful. Sometime no, I mean Kumar Gaurav was one who got a blockbuster and then failed 50 movies, so he was out of the industry. But there can be, but you need to get the first blockbuster right. Quickly demonstrate more, not more to the outside world, but to yourself that you can do it. Finally, I also now these days get a lot of young coming to me and saying, look, we want to get started with this great idea. I say, when is the idea coming out? He says, the next 2-3 months as we get the first investment. I say, okay, great. What is the name of the entire thing? We are just working on that. I said, what is your goal? He says, but no, 2 years we want to sell the company. I said, something which is not even started, you don't have a logo, you want to sell the company? I said, yeah, I would take an exit. Yeah. I like it, but really, I tell myself, the businesses which are designed to sell would never sell. Businesses which are designed to run would get investors. So don't even think about getting into a business which you want to just sell. Design businesses which would bring a change. Design businesses which are responsible. Design businesses which would last, which would create some kind of differentiation. So this is a little bit what I wanted to share with you. Hopefully you would have got some input from there. Thank you very much for your time.